Good evening. Coming up tonight,
a blast from the past, a look into what went into reopening the nation's oldest freestanding library.
Plus, we had the results from USC's women's golf team's trip to Dallas for the Stevens Cup.
And later, a chance to have your pumpkin crowned as the best jack-o'-lantern of 2023.
But first, SGTV's weather reporter Nicole Smith is in the studio here with us now. Nicole, what weather can we expect to see this weekend?
Well, Erin, we can be expecting to see some stormier weather coming up, but on the bright side, we're not going to have as hot as weather as we've been having these past couple of months because it's finally fall, so we can be expecting to see some cooler weather coming up. I'll have the weather forecast for you this week and more on SGTV Student News at 7.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio.
This is Student News at 7.
Good evening, Carolina. I'm Erin Smith.
And I'm Bridget Bruchalski. Thank you for joining us tonight. We start with an update on a story we brought to you a couple weeks ago.
After nearly 8 years, a living time capsule of the university is welcoming back students. The South Caroliniana Library opened its doors last week. Nearly $10 million went towards its renovations. It's recognized as the nation's oldest freestanding academic library. You can visit during the week from 9 to 4.
And as stress around midterms begin to bubble, sometimes it can be relaxing to listen to a good song. According to the AARP, music can have a positive effect on brain chemicals like dopamine. That's the same chemical linked to the feelings of pleasure.
SGTV reporter Clarissa Meier shows us how a campus organization is changing the conversation around mental health through classical music.
At the Russell House patio, student and alumni musicians performed on stage while talking about how their music relates to their mental health. This was a collaboration between Spark, a music leadership department a part of USC's School of Music, and Classical Healing Keys, which is an organization focused on decreasing the stigma surrounding mental health illnesses. 4 musicians performed on their instruments from the piano, clarinet, and cello. Before the performance, they spoke on the mental health connection to their music, whether the composer or song itself.
A big reminder and inspiration to me that mental illness doesn't need to define anybody's life, and in the midst of all the mess, you have beauty inside of you to share.
Justin Schwartz, the event coordinator for Classical Healing Keys, explains how important it is for this to be displayed for college students during a highly stressful part of their lives.
We're at the most stressful point of our lives for a lot of us. Some of us have kids, some of us have to work full time, some of us have to take care of a parent, some of us have food insecurity. There's just so much that can go into creating a lot of stress. And so by talking about it, we're able to help decrease the stigma surrounding it.
This event is working to help remove those barriers students face with their mental health.
Because the 2 barriers are financial and stigma. And at University of South Carolina, all students, regardless of if you have health insurance or not, can get free therapy. And so that removes that one barrier, and so this is helping remove the second barrier.
Local mental health organizations also set up tables for the event. At the end of the concert, one of the mental health correspondents asked the musicians questions about their passion for music and how it correlates with their mental health. College students and their passions help them find themselves more, and for these music students, musicianship is a constant that's a form of stability in between the stresses and lows. If you're looking to be a part of mental health awareness, the American Federation for Suicide Prevention will have a walk on October 22nd to fundraise in support of suicide prevention. For SGTV News 4, I'm Clarissa Meier.
Thanks, Clarissa. Tomorrow, the Black Alumni Council is holding a breakfast to honor the 40-year anniversary of the Richard T. Greener Scholarship Fund.
The scholarship honors Richard Theodore Greener, Harvard's first Black graduate and the first African-American faculty member here at USC. The scholarship is offered to 1 minority freshman and is determined based on academic achievements, leadership ability, community service, and financial need. The scholarship provides the student with $8,000 over the course of their 4 years. The breakfast starts at 8:30 and attendance will hear from a scholarship recipient and will raise funds for the scholarship. Nearly 10 minutes away from campus, some Columbia senior citizens are having to find a new home.
This comes after the Wardlaw apartment complex was recently sold to a developer in Florida. It's been an affordable housing option since the early 2000s, The developer says he will try to keep the complex at a reasonable price. And since it was built in 1927, the building's historic exterior will also be preserved. As of last week, current residents of the Wardlaw apartments have 60 days to move out. Looking statewide, South Carolina's annual school report card showed promising signs while highlighting areas for growth.
There's been an increase in the number of schools with a good or excellent rating, and schools with a below average score decreased almost 9% from last year. But only half of the students are reading at their grade level. That number drops to about 40% for math. These annual report cards are made up of a variety of qualifications from the 2022 to 2023 school year. Those include test performance, teacher qualifications, student safety awards, and parent involvement. State Education Superintendent Ellen Weaver expressed her excitement for the increase in schools' ratings, but said there is still work to be done.
Columbia-Richland's fire department is experiencing staffing shortages throughout the county. It's been an ongoing issue in the area for at least a year now. SGTV reporter Elizabeth Martinez takes a deep dive into this problem.
The Columbia-Richland Fire Department is attempting to fill a staffing void. Common areas that once saw years' worth of routine are now standing by as firemen come and go. The Columbia Fire Headquarters downtown dedicates a piece of their common space to those who had to step away from serving the capital city. One Columbia fireman, who wishes to remain anonymous, says the department's pay is leaving his colleagues struggling to support their families.
Just about every day we have conversations with a new name that comes up, talking about getting out the fire service to provide for the family.
Some who stay with the department are left with no choice but to work a second job.
Now, I think it's completely sad that a man in this profession has to, beat himself more to make a living.
Other departments in the state offer a higher base salary despite responding to fewer calls. The starting salary for a Columbia firefighter, $34,174, with a call volume of 34,307 calls. A Charleston firefighter's base pay, $43,561, with a call volume of 19,604 calls. Columbia City Council passed a budget plan in June, then implemented an increase in the starting pay from $34,000 to roughly $43,000, a change that went into effect just last week. Columbia Fire Chief Aubrey Jenkins says this plan was proposed to ensure the city stayed competitive with surrounding departments.
Couple things that we want this pay plan to do, not only to recruit but retain as well. So we want to make sure we take care of the folks that are here as well.
While every department in the state pulls from the same competitive pool, Chief Jenkins says he is confident in the department's own training program and its potential to keep firemen.
Yeah, so it's a build up. They're going to get an increase every year. Every year they get that increase. So I think that's the first time we've had that, and I think that's real positive.
For the fireman I spoke with, he says it's all about the desire to serve.
But as for myself, I plan on sticking around and making ends meet.
For SGTV News, I'm Elizabeth Martinez.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Although there was some rain today, it was nothing compared to what Columbia saw 8 years ago. More than 20 inches of rain fell on the Midlands in what was called a 1,000-year flood. It wiped out several sections of the Columbia area. Now, the city of Forest Acres is creating the Gills Creek Memorial Park in commemoration. The park will have a community green space, a fishing dock, a repaired flooded bridge, and a fallen officer memorial. The park will be dedicated to Officer Greg Alia, who lost his life as a first responder in the flood. The park is set to open soon. You can find more information on forestacres.net.
Make sure to take a look up at the sky this weekend, as you might be able to catch a solar eclipse on Saturday.
An eclipse is when the moon crosses paths in front of the sun, blocking its rays from the earth. South Carolina will observe a partial eclipse, as the moon will only be covering 40 to 50% of the suns from our viewpoint. More western states will have the opportunity to experience viewing a total eclipse. Don't let the homecoming festivities distract you too much this Saturday, as the eclipse will be at 11:50 a.m. and end at 2:48 p.m. The maximum eclipse can be occurred at 1:18 p.m. I know that I've never seen an eclipse, so I'm really excited to be going out and looking for it on Saturday.
I've seen one a few years ago, and it's one of the most magical experiences, so definitely try to catch it.
Can't wait.
Coming up after the break, SGTV's weather reporter Nicole Smith will let us know what we have to expect heading into the homecoming weekend.
Welcome back, Carolina. I'm Nicole Smith. Here's your look at tonight's forecast. Those temperatures are hitting 55 degrees tonight. You can see those winds are going 5 miles per hour. Now, normally I would say take your chance with the humidity, but since it's hitting 92% tonight, I would say don't even worry about it. It's gonna win for tonight. Now, looking at the rest of the week, as you can see, it's finally fall, so we're gonna have those fall temperatures hitting the high 60s to those high 70s, and as we go into those afternoon times, it's gonna be hitting the low 40s, so it's gonna get pretty chilly. So if you haven't yet grabbed those jackets and sweaters out of the closet, it is time to do so because it's fall. But as you can see here, Friday, it is going to be raining, and so as Saturday as well. So taking another look at that, as you can see, we're going to have some heavy rains, but it's going to rain Friday night, so those high winds are going to be coming during that daytime. They're going to be kind of low, so nothing too bad, but definitely grab your jacket, be prepared during that day. You don't have to worry about those thunderstorms or flood flashes for here in Columbia. If you're along the coast, I definitely would keep an eye out for that so you can stay safe. Now, looking around all of South Carolina, it is game day here this Saturday. So looking at what all of South Carolina is going to be looking like this Saturday, as you can see here in Columbia, we're going to have that temperature hitting as high as 79. And throughout the whole South Carolina, we're going to be having the low 80s to those high 70s. So definitely bring some water, some screens, because it's going to be a little hot. Now, like I mentioned, it will be raining Saturday morning, but it will be bright and sunny for that game so we can beat those Florida Gators, of course. Now, here on the coast, it's going to be some lower temperatures. It's going to be raining. We're going to have some thunderstorms, all of that. So be careful if anyone is traveling here to Columbia for that game. Be careful because it will be raining that morning. So those roads are going to be slippery, of course, and especially against that coast. There's going to be thunderstorm, high winds, all of that. Now, looking at those headlines, like I said, Friday, it will be raining at night, and Saturday, it's going to be raining in the morning. But good news, guys, next week it is fall break, so good for that. Thursday and Friday, we're going to have some great weather. It's going to be a little cloudy, but nothing too bad to worry about. But Saturday and Sunday, it will be raining, so I know that's a little damper on fall break, but that is okay. Just make sure you're safe on your way home. I know people are heading back that Sunday, and that's when it's going to be raining, all of that. And like I said, Myrtle Beach, thunderstorm, so just be careful. If you're flying home, be safe, be careful with those rain coming in. That is all I have for tonight. After the break, we'll have tonight's edition of Carolina Canines. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dakota Morris.
And I'm Isabella Davis, here to give you the latest in sports.
The 6th-ranked Gamecocks women's golf team finished off the last day of the Stevens Cup yesterday in Dallas. After 2 days of stroke play on Monday and Tuesday, the Gamecocks found themselves tied 4th with Texas A&M Aggies. Three Gamecocks finished within the top 10 in stroke play, including sophomore Mia Santor of Lausanne, junior Louise Rydvist, and junior Hannah Darling. Darling's top 10 finish is the 14th of her career, tying her for 6th most all-time in program history. Both Lausanne and Rydvist finished tied 7th and had clutch par saves on hole 18. The match play round took place yesterday, where a tiebreaker was used to decide who would play in the 3rd place pairing. Thanks to the clutch saves from Lausanne and Rydvist, the Gamecocks beat out the Aggies in the tiebreaker. The Gamecocks took on number 2 Stanford, ultimately falling 4-1. Rydvist is responsible for the Gamecocks' only win against the Cardinal, finishing 6-4. The Gamecocks will have some time to relax and recuperate before heading to California for the Therese Henson Regional Challenge on February 4th.
Last night, Gamecocks women's volleyball recorded its first SEC win of the 2023 season against the Georgia Bulldogs with a score of 3-1. SGTV sports reporter Sarah Munoz has more on the game.
I'm here at Carolina Volleyball Center, where the South Carolina Gamecocks just beat the Georgia Bulldogs in 4 sets for their first SEC win of the season. Let's see how it happened.
The Bulldogs put up the first 2 points, but the rest of the matchup was back and forth with 5 ties and 3 lead changes between the two teams. The set ended with back-to-back kills from Riley Whitesides to secure a 25-22 win for the Gamecocks. The Bulldogs took a quick lead in the second set. Despite catching up towards the middle, the Gamecocks fell short and dropped the set 25-20. South Carolina bounced back after, with 17 kills and 2 aces to win the third set 25-18. The Gamecocks returned to the court dominant in the fourth set and secured the overall win with a score 25-16. Freshman Campbell Paris closed out the South Carolina victory with her team leading 18th kill.
The Gamecocks head to Texas A&M on Sunday for another conference matchup. For SGTV Sports, I'm Sarah Munoz.
Thanks, Sarah. The Gamecocks are getting ready to hit the road this weekend and face Texas A&M this Sunday at 3 p.m. You can tune in to watch on the SEC Network. Now let's see if the Gamecocks can bring back a second one of the SEC season as they're getting ready to play A&M after this big defeat against Georgia.
Yeah, it is a really big win for them, and it's a really big deal to be winning so much in the conference play. The Gamecocks men's soccer team added another win to their resume this past Saturday against Old Dominion. Both teams were scoreless with less than 30 seconds left in the game when Ethan Deckel-Dox earned a free kick at 28 yards out. Deckel-Dox was able to score with 5 seconds left, giving the Gamecocks 1-0 victory. Let's take a look.
8, 7, 6, 5.
This marks Deckel-Dox's third goal of the season, all of which have been game-winning goals. So with no surprise, Deckel-Dox has been named the Sun Belt Men's Soccer Offensive Player of the Week. South Carolina also found success on Saturday on the defensive side of the ball. Former Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week, Ben Alexander, clutched his third shutout of the season with 2 saves. The Gamecocks are currently taking on number 7 West Virginia at Stone Stadium. A week from today, they will be back on the road to Statesboro, Georgia to take on Georgia Southern at 7.
Over to the Gamecocks women's team. South Carolina women's soccer hit the road last weekend to the other Columbia, where they played the Missouri Tigers. Both offenses were stagnant in the first half, only mustering 7 combined shots in the first 45 minutes. In the second half, the offenses came alive, with the Gamecocks striking first in the 63rd minute as Karina Zulo put them on top, 1-0. However, the Tigers would respond in the 77th minute with a goal from Scarlett Thomas. The action would die out in the final minutes as the game ended in a 1-1 draw. The Gamecocks return here tomorrow as they host Ole Miss in yet another conference match. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is streaming on ESPN+. In other Gamecock women's soccer news, Regan Schubach was announced as the SEC Freshman of the Week. Schubach earned the honor after her stunning goal against the LSU Tigers last week. Now let's see if Schubach can bring in that same energy that's brought her to become the Player of the Week into this game as they're getting ready to play at home tomorrow.
Yeah, and you guys should definitely come out and watch. The first 300 students to show up will get a very special Friday the 13th soccer USC tee, so make sure you show up for your team. Coming up after the break, SGTV reporters Emma Wyatt and Destini Austin will lay down the talk of the town. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Carolina. I'm Destini Austin.
And I'm Emma Wyatt, here to give you the latest in this week's entertainment. October is here and the festivities are in full swing. If you, your friends, or your family is looking for a fun way to get into the spooky spirit, here's the perfect competition for you. Cola today is hosting a pumpkin carving competition. This event is a fun way to get creative and, of course, visit your nearest pumpkin patch during the fall season. To enter the contest and create a submission, here is what you will need to do. Visit cola-today.com and you will find a submission link. After creating your prized pumpkin, you're going to snap a picture, give your pumpkin a name, and leave a brief description and attach your email address. Submissions will be open through this Sunday, October 15th at 11:59 p.m. Finalists will be selected Friday, October 20th for a chance to be crowned the best jack-o'-lantern of 2023. Voting will be open to the public and the official winner will be announced Friday, October 27th. So get your carving kits and have some fun this fall. Another fall tradition is back in Cola this week with the South Carolina State Fair. The fair opened its doors Wednesday the 11th and will be keeping them open all the way through the 22nd of this month.
Of course, the fair will bring back its familiar food, rides, and other activities with some notable new additions. In the Department of Food, there are 11 perfectly suited dishes, including, but not limited to, the donut dog, Wisconsin cheese curds, dill pickle pizza, and more. Some classic rides will be returning as well, including the Zipper. According to their website, the Zipper is the perfect ride for an adrenaline-pumping experience featuring strong vertical G-forces, exhilarating spins, and an element of delightful surprises. Whether you are returning to the fair or heading to it for the very first time, you can buy your tickets ahead of time to save 50% off at se-state-fair.org.
Homecoming has made its way back to campus this week with a ton of fun events with plenty more to come. Looking to cheer on the Gamecocks before the big game this week? This Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., the 5 Points Association, along with USC Gamecock Athletics, will be hosting the Paint the Town Garnet and Black Block Party. The party is free and open to the public. If you're looking to attend, it'll take place on the corner of Hardin Street and Saluda Avenue. Show up dressed in your best Gamecock gear and celebrate homecoming with alumni and fellow fans. You'll even get to see performances from the USC Spirit Squads and Cocky himself. Enjoy food, sidewalk vendors, games, activities, and a special performance from the local band, The Ramblers. While there, head over to some 5 Points business staying open during the block party for some dining and shopping. This year, more guests are expected to attend since the event doesn't take place during the Halloween weekend. Free parking will be available in the 2221 Divine Street University parking garage. The Garnet and Black Block Party is definitely the event to go to. For more questions, contact SAHC at mailbox.sc.edu. Taylor Swift is not only selling out arenas, she's selling out movie theaters as well. The star announced her concert film Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour back in August. The film will show her performances in different cities from her latest Eras Tour. Swifties have been excitedly waiting and definitely ready for this movie to release. 99% of ticket sales this week happened all for the Eras Tour. It's projected to outsell Barbie and Spider-Man No Way Home opening box office. According to Deadline, 4,220 out of 13,000 showtimes appear to be sold out ahead of its release. The movie has earned $100 million just in pre-sales and is expected to make more than $100 million in its first week of opening and debut. It's even on track to become the highest-grossing concert tour in concert film history. If this sounds like something for you, the movie releases worldwide this Friday the 13th, her lucky day, at 6 p.m. You can catch the film tomorrow at your local AMC theaters. I think that theaters everywhere are going to be full with Taylor Swift fans tomorrow. What about you?
Agreed. I'm not the biggest Swiftie fan, but I remember when Justin Bieber came out with his Never Say Never documentary, and I was so excited to go.
Yes, I love concert films, and I think everyone will love this film.
Me too. That's all your entertainment news for tonight. After the break, we'll have tonight's edition of Carolina K9. You do not want to miss it. Stay with us.
And finally, tonight's Carolina K9 features Muggsy. This happy guy was submitted by SGTV's very own training director, Tyler Peroni.
Tyler's not sure how old Muggsy is or really what breed he is, but in his free time, Muggsy's also known as Mr. Muggs and can be found zooming around the house and playing with the house cats. Muggsy is so cute even though you don't know what breed he is.
Doesn't really matter, I guess. I saw that he was wearing some Christmas pajamas, and I can say, as much as my dogs hate it, they're wearing them every year on Christmas Eve.
I know it's Halloween, but I'm ready for Christmas.
Me too. That wraps up tonight's edition of Student News at 7.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at SGTV at USC.
To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtv@usc.com. For SGTV News 4, I'm Erin Smith.
And I'm Bridget Bruchalski. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina. Forever to thee.